know. This is bad. We've upgraded from like 1970s television to 2005-ish, maybe. Yeah, all right. That's like 30-year improvement. Yeah, you right. You darn tootin'. I've been wanting to say darn tootin', by golly, things like that. I've been dreaming about saying those kind of words, sayings, phrases, sentences on the radio. You darn tootin', tootin'. I'm not going to say it quick. You darn tootin'. I'm with like a tilde on the end. No, not even a G. I-N tilde, a tootin'. I'm going to say it literally, like I'm from Kansas. You darn tootin', tootin'. Sounds like a dog's name. Come on, Tootin'. Come on, boy. Good boy, Tootin'. Tootin'. Oh, boy. It's going to be that kind of program already, huh, Miss Peaches? That's how we started. You get the song going again? Let's go back to 4 o'clock. Reset the clock. We're going to start over again. It's like playing golf. You put a double bogey on the first hole. You're like, can we go back to one's tee and start over again? Oh, boy. Tootin'. And dude, I'm listening to Corey today. I mean, this guy does like talk radio, talk television. I tune in at 4 o'clock when the show starts. He's talking about tootin', darn tootin' for like a minute or two. Wow. Miss Peaches just threw her headset on the floor and stormed out of the studio, just mad. If you're going to say crazy stuff, curse. That's what she said. She's really upset about this G-level cursing. The darn tootin', and by golly. Wow. Sorry, lady. Geesh. Relax. She says she's from Westwego and Avondale, and those words are never spoken over there. I believe that. Hey, the 4 o'clock hour this afternoon brought to you by Young's Dry Cleaning. I know I talk about Young's just about every day on this program, but you really need to be listening because a lot of you settle with your dry cleaner. You go to just some arbitrary dry cleaner. It's your clothes. Some of that stuff's expensive. You love it. It's your favorite, irreplaceable stuff. Bring it to the experts, the pros. They've only been at it since 1940. Just hard to conceive. I mean, been around since 1990. That would be like 34 years. That'd be like, damn, you guys have been at it a while. Since 1990? Since 1940. Just crazy. 84 years of excellence, a New Orleans tradition. Experience the best. YoungsDryCleaning.com, 4 o'clock hour, brought to you by Young's Dry Cleaning this afternoon. A ton to discuss. I have often said, I'm kind of getting fired up. I mean, when you have a good idea and you know it's a legitimately good idea and it finally starts taking root elsewhere, you feel good. I throw out a lot of stuff. I don't sit there and 5-star all of them. You know, hey, this is a great idea. But like the land-based casino in New Orleans, like, let's revisit that. That's a good idea. That needs to gain traction. At least it needs to be looked at. Nothing's ever been done. Like, check out the other casino giants. Would they want to come to New Orleans and build a land-based casino that would compete with the billion-dollar-plus Caesars downtown, the old Harrah's? So that's like one. Another one, reimagining Bourbon Street, reimagining the gutter, the toilet that is Bourbon Street. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser was in the French Quarter last night, meeting with citizens, with business owners. He's saying the French Quarter should be a shining jewel. Talked about how he has basically offered state resources to partner with the city, and the mayor, Latoya, the Destroyer Cantrell, is like, thanks, but no thanks. It's just typical politics. Like, power and being dysfunctional is more important than relinquishing, and I say it with a question mark, power? Like, you're getting the French Quarter fixed. You're going to gain more power. People are going to like you more. Anyway, that's not how politics in Louisiana work. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser gets it, though. He thinks the French Quarter needs to be cleaned up, and he's like, and not just for the Super Bowl. And then I love, I think a Fox 8 story, if I'm not mistaken. I should still have it up. Let's see what the outlet is, because I don't want to give credit where, it's a Fox 8 story. No, they had like quotes from like citizens and business owners. And this lady, Diane Simnos, says it best. We'd like a more sophisticated tourist. I don't want Bourbon Street advertised at all. Brilliant comment. I've been talking about this for a long, long time, specifically Bourbon Street, reimagining Bourbon Street. There's a reason we locals don't go down to Bourbon Street ever. It's a toilet. It's disgusting. It's awful. It's worthless. There's a reason we locals don't go to Bourbon Street. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's long overdue. But there's a lot of folks in New Orleans like, you can't change things. Like, can't. And it's always been that way. And just all this sort of second-rate loser mentality type excuse making. No, it can be changed. It needs to be changed. Bourbon Street needs to be a place where locals would want to go because it's nice. And I like how this French Quarter property owner for 32 years, Diane Simno, said it. We'd like a more sophisticated tourist. I mentioned it the other day. Jimmy, his date Brenda, they pull up, they walk into the quarter, they go to Bourbon Street, they get a couple of daiquiris, they walk up and down the street for a couple hours, they're gone. Brenda spends $17, Jimmy $23. That's not a sophisticated tourist. Great word, great, phrase, sophisticated tourist. I was saying things like, a couple from Australia and they're walking Bourbon Street and going to a great restaurant, dining outside. And then they're going to a jazz club next door and listening to music. And then they're going around the block at midnight because Royal Street's lit up and open now because Bourbon Street has a more sophisticated tourist. And they're buying antiques on Royal Street at midnight and getting them shipped to Auckland or wherever they came from. No, we need not $17 a head, but $170 a head, $1,700 a head. We need a more sophisticated tourist on Bourbon Street. It's terrible. It's time to reimagine Bourbon Street. I love Billy Nungesser jumping on the bandwagon. He's like, is it neglect? Is it apathy? The French Quarter needs attention. And not just because of the Super Bowl, but for the longevity of Louisiana's jewel. You got to love what he says. This ought to be a shining star. This ought to be shining in any place in the city. If anything in the city ought to shine, excuse me. It's unacceptable. And if this is the jewel of the city, God help us that we can't clean it up and make it safe. 19 million tourists a year. 120 million in sales tax in the French Quarter alone. It's long overdue. It starts with Bourbon Street. Clean up the toilet and then the rest of it'll, go from there. What's the rising tide raises all ships. Clean up the gutter. Literally the gutter, Bourbon Street. Thank you, Billy Nungesser. And thank you, Diane Simno, French Quarter property owner. We would like a more sophisticated tourist. I don't want Bourbon Street advertised at all. She's halfway right. More sophisticated tourist, but reimagine Bourbon Street and you'd want it advertised, Diane. But I get what she's saying. I'm on her side. She's right. She's right. Right on the money. Miss Peach is at the controls, fielding your phone calls, 766-9480. 766-9480. Hey, before it was the French Quarter, before it was Jackson Square, I should say more specifically, before it was Jackson Square, what was it named? Before it was Jackson Square, what was that square named? Give me the answer to that. I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. Miss Peaches says she knows. 766-9480. 766-9480. Speaking of Jackson Square, we know St. Louis Cathedral. We know the Cabildo. We know the Pontalba Apartments, don't we? That's been in the news just a little bit, huh? What's that other main building? You got St. Louis Cathedral. You got the Cabildo to the left. Got the apartments on either side. What's to the right of St. Louis Cathedral? Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 766-9480. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. That's how you can dial us up. 766-9480. Corey Johnson with you, coming right back. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson, Thursday afternoon, another show chock full of topics. I like what Billy Nungesser is saying. Like to hear from you. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Let's head to Jefferson Parish. Ridge joins us. What up, Ridge?
Hey, can hardly hear you.
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, bro.
I was just calling to answer that question.
The question about life, and what about life? What are the answers to life?
Hello?
Hey, Ridge.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. What's your answer, Ridge?
This is a bad advertisement for my telephone company.
All right.
I wanted to answer your question about, what Jackson Square was. It was Foster Arms, and I believe there's one also in Pensacola, and St. Louis, San Antonio.
Yeah. I think there are some multiple Place d'Armes. That makes sense. Ridge and Jefferson Parish, you are correct.
Yeah, you're right.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're a winner. Hey, Ridge, hang on. Don't go anywhere. All right?
Thank you.
That's Ridge and Jefferson Parish. Where are we heading? To Pearl River? Is that where we're heading, Miss Peaches? John joins us in Pearl River up to 59. What up, John?
Hey, man, look, I was going to answer that Place d'Armes answer. That was around 1848 that they renamed it.
What do you reading off a wiki page or something?
No, man. I'm a historical buff of New Orleans.
Nice.
I was born and raised there.
So go on. I apologize for interrupting you. 1848?
Right. Michaela Fatalba did it. And she loved the city, and she's the one that redesigned the Jackson Square, renamed it, put the iron ornamentation up in the middle of the spot. You know about the balconies and all of that on top of the building.
Tell us about it. No, I know it's Spanish, wrought iron, not French, but tell us about it. No, I love what.
Yeah.
Keep going, John.
Well, you can see the A and P in every section of the balcony on the second floor, and that's not A and P grocery stores. That's for her maiden name, Almanasser, and then her married name in honor of her children, Fontalba, because she didn't get along with her husband too well. Matter of fact, her father-in-law shot her 4 times and left her for dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she lived through it miraculously. She lost some thumbs. No, she lost not thumbs, fingers on her hand because she blocked the shots when father-in-law came up. Because she wanted to go back to New Orleans. She was living in Paris with her insane husband, and she wanted to go back to New Orleans and take her kids, and father-in-law didn't like that. All of his inheritance going back to New Orleans.
Huh.
So he thought he did the job. He thought he killed her. He runs back to his bedroom or his house or wherever, loads the guns again and shoots himself, and he was successfully committed suicide, killed himself.
John, great information.
But Jackson Square, she was highly respectful of Andrew Jackson because of his defeat of the British in 1814, 1815.
Yeah.
She was highly respectful of. Matter of fact, when the monument in Jackson Square was unveiled in Washington, D.C., she went to see it unveiled, and she said, I want one of those in New Orleans.
Wow.
And the rest of the story.
The one in D.C. is what, at the White House?
Yeah, it's around there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hey, John, when you said War of 1812, why'd you say 1814, 1815?
The Battle of New Orleans.
Which took place when?
1815.
Yeah, no, you're right. You said it right. I think like late December 1814 into January of 1850, and really early January 1850. No, I'm just putting more of a light on you. You know your history like crazy. It's ridiculous.
There's a symposium on the Battle of New Orleans at in the Chalmette at what's his name, Nunez's college every January 8th, that weekend.
Nice. You know? That's great. That's great.
Very interesting.
That is interesting. Hey, John, I love your answer. I'm going to tighten you up with a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate, all right?
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate all the info. Don't be a stranger. I love all the information, all right?
I don't want to. I like your radio program.
Thanks, John. Hang on.
All right.
That's John in Pearl River. Miss Peaches, I'm getting an email. Hey, it's Ridge. Miss Peaches hasn't come back on the line. We on hold? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Corey at CoreyTalks.com. Thank you, Ridge. Yeah, Miss Peaches is coming to you right now, Ridge. Going to get some info from you. John in Pearl River, hang on. Going to get some info from you. Excellent work. Good job, Ridge. You know, Plasta Arms. I know it's like easy for some folks, but I know a little bit. I'm not like John. John seems like he's just a total history buff, but I know some history. I like history. I forgot Plasta Arms for a second. I'm thinking, no, that's that little armory behind the Pontalba. Behind the Cabildo. And I'm like, no, that's the armory. The Jackson Square was the Plasta Arms, both under French and Spanish. So I was like, wow. So I was like, that'd be a good trivia question. Anyway, excellent work, Ridge. Excellent work, John, the Plasta Arms, which there is a hotel. We used to call it the Plastic Arms right down the street. The Plastic Arms. Hey, St. Louis Cathedral, the Cabildo is to what? If you're looking at St. Louis Cathedral to the left, you got the Pontalba Apartments on either side of Jackson Square, on either side of the Plasta Arms. What's that other building, the other main building at Jackson Square? Maybe to the right of St. Louis Cathedral. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. I love it. Somebody that can move the needle more than me. Obviously, he's the lieutenant governor of the state. Now, I've been talking about reimagining Bourbon Street because it's a dump, it's a toilet. Billy Nungesser was in the Quarter, and just talking about beyond Bourbon Street, the Quarter in general needs to be, a shining jewel. And he thinks it has to be that way. And don't just clean it up for the Super Bowl. Make it permanent. Make it permanent. He's right on the money. I mentioned this a while back with litter and trash. We're probably the filthiest city in America, literally. New Orleans, metro area, the filthiest. We're going to clean up for the Super Bowl. Let's maintain that. Let's change the mindset, because that's what it is. It's a citizen mindset. That's what it is. I'm sure the New Orleans Sanitation Department can do a better job. I'm sure Jefferson Parish Sanitation Department can do a better job. But it is a sickness with the population. Black, white, rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, grandma, private school, 8-year-old. I've seen it from every demographic, every walk of life. Folks and it's obnoxious. It's just blatant littering. Blatant littering. Just selfish, don't give a crap. It's so bad that it's become, something over years, a decade plus, a few decades plus, that it's just natural. Like you're not even thinking about it. Of course I do that. Just like I'm thirsty, I drink water. I'm hungry, it's time to eat. If it's raining, you want an umbrella or raincoat, kind of that kind of thinking. Yeah, of course you litter. Of course I don't want this trash or garbage. This is an inconvenience. I got to go look for a trash can. I forgot about that decades ago. On the ground, out the car window, open up the car door, dump all your trash out. I don't want it in my car. I like my car. I wouldn't want the trash in the car. No, there's a major problem. It is the citizenry. That's the number one mover and shaker. It's not the city needs to clean up better. City needs better trash enforcement. It's the citizens. The mindset of New Orleans and beyond needs to change. And when we clean it up, we need to keep it clean like any other city. No, it's hysterical. Just like the Yaddy New Orleanian goes on a trip, goes on a vacation. Hey, how was your trip to Phoenix? How was your trip to whatever, Atlanta? How was your trip to Denver? It's so clean. It's so clean. That's your comment? Not even we went to the world's biggest ball of twine or something. It's so clean. Nothing about the museums or the restaurants or some kind of, cultural thing. It's so clean. That's what your comment is on your travels? No, here's the catch. It's not so clean. We're just so dirty. That's the deal. The other places aren't so clean. We're just so dirty. That's the difference. Corey Johnson with you. Go, Billy Nungesser, go. He's right. The quarter needs to be a shining jewel. Speaking of a shining jewel, it's called Trey Yen. So damn good. I love Trey Yen. That Tong Cho sauce is incredible. You get those lunch specials Tuesday through Friday. You get the little wontons, these little, maybe an inch, little triangular wontons. You dip those in the Tong Cho sauce. Hard not to knock out that little bag of wontons they give you. Little wax paper bag with wontons. So good. And that Tong Cho sauce is phenomenal. Sweet, yet spicy. It's a Trey Yen original. They're in Mandeville, right by the foot of the causeway. As good as it gets. It's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine. Tonight, Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. Yeah, you, right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. The President of the United States of America. I think he said the other day, I run the world. That was his quote to George Stephanopoulos, I think. I run the world. Who else can keep NATO together? I mean, he makes some, those are sort of pseudo-valid points. Joe Biden, President of the United States of America, at least for the time being, to hold a news conference. It's sort of flexible. It's kind of like how we do things in New Orleans. Around 5:30-ish. 5:30-ISH. 5:30-ish local time. It could be 6 o'clock. Like the White House is even saying it's a busy schedule. President Joe Biden to hold a media conference. Should be interesting. This could be I'm not expecting like I'm dropping out of the race. I think that would be a bombshell. I think I'm just expecting the opposite. I'm staying in the race, and Joe Biden drank a lot of orange juice today and got like a B12 shot, and he's ready to go. He's had a candy bar. He's hyped. Anyway, no, this is huge for Biden, I think, because if he doesn't perform well at this press conference, if it's like debate-like, it's just going to have the snowball roll down the mountain even more and more. He's trying to blow up the snowball that's gaining snow and getting bigger and bigger and is about to be an avalanche to take out the village. It's either going to blow up I shouldn't say that. It's either going to stay the same, blow up, or get worse. We'll see. Maybe in an hour, maybe 6 o'clock, Joe Biden to have a news conference where media will ask him questions. There won't be a teleprompter. Let's head to the phone lines. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone line. 766-9480. That's how Robert and Slidell dialed us up. What up, Robert?
Hey there, KJ.
Roberto, what's going on, dude?
Oh, man, it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yep, it is. We don't get a reprieve until October.
Yeah, I hope this, the heat wave, though, hopefully maybe it'll keep those hurricanes, as the Yats like to say, at least off our coast.
Well, I mean, it looks like the opposite, Colorado State just the other day upped the already active, above average active hurricane season. They upped it to even more storms, more named hurricane, more major storms, all of that. So, yeah.
No. I get there may be more. I just hope it steers them away from us.
No, I hear you. Like it's a heat buffer and bumps them away. Yeah, we need some gimmick, and I don't wish them on anybody. I hear you, Robert. But yeah, just not. We don't need them right now. It's the last thing we need.
No.
Look at Houston. Houston's still people without power in Houston, Robert. It's days later, and it's, a couple of million people without power in Houston. That's crazy.
It's I got a friend over there. They're really we can certainly sympathize with them. That's for sure.
Yep.
'Cause we know how that goes. This presser this afternoon, man, with President Biden. I'm really surprised he's doing it, or his aides let him do it. I don't know. He seems like he's got nothing to gain. It's only going to get worse.
No, I mean, I think the opposite, Robert. I think it could get worse if he performs like at the debate. It will, but he has to step up and prove that, and not just that day after in Nashville, but you got to prove that you're competent and you can do this gig for a while. And that debate was a debacle for Joe Biden.
But even the interview with I can't
Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, him. I don't know that went all that well either.
I agree.
He had some jumbled feet and he wasn't sharp.
No, I didn't even see the whole thing. I just caught some clips that weren't even necessarily supposed to be derogative.
Yeah, I don't know what he gains from, but maybe you're right. Maybe maybe they want to keep throwing him out there in hopes and that he can show. I don't know. He's an 81-year-old man. I know if I was 81, I sure wouldn't want to deal with what he deals with.
He's an 81-year-old man who's like 95. Or seriously, like Mick Jagger's 81. Mick Jagger was, at Jazz Fest a few months ago, running around like he's 30. Trump's 4 years younger. 4, not 40. So I mean,
Trump's just got deeper pockets for a good dermatologist. That's really the biggest, and maybe he's a little sharper, but from his physical appearance, I mean, like I said, Trump just pays for better Botox or whatever it is. He just
Trump's a cat. I think he's a go person. He doesn't require much sleep. He likes the fight. He likes engaging. He loves these rallies. He likes talking to, in front of a big crowd where he's the rock star. He loves all that stuff. But, that's why Hillary Clinton arguably lost that election to Donald Trump. At 1 a.m, Trump's Landing is playing in Iowa like it's 1 p.m. And there are 20,000 people there. And Hillary Clinton at 8 p.m. is going, let's cancel that 8:30 in Philadelphia and we'll reschedule it. I want to go home. So that happened a lot. And every night, 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., Trump's having a rally somewhere and kicking butt and taking names, so
there was
he can go.
Exchange at one of the recent press briefings between Karine Jean-Pierre and I don't know if it was the guy from Fox, somebody, but Joe Biden had mentioned to the Democratic governors that he scales back events after 8 o'clock. I guess, I don't know if it's because he goes to sleep or
no, that's one thing they were saying, like this press conference would have been better at 5:30 in the morning than 5:30 at night. Like, supposedly Biden's like cognitive, I don't know what you'd call it, level declines as the day progresses. He's sharper in the morning.
Like sundown or something.
Yeah, that's something like that.
Somebody asked him, if Russia launches a nuke at 10:30, 11 at New York City, who's handling it?
Yeah, that's a little overblown, I think, I think all that's.
Well, maybe that's a little extreme.
I think it's in the same category as you want Trump put his finger on the button. Like, it's like Trump doesn't have his finger on the button if he's the president. It's like Donald Trump can't go launch missiles.
No, I don't trust him anymore with the nuclear codes just for different reasons.
I hear you, but I think there's more of it's not just the president launching nuclear missiles.
No, I guess if something hits the fan in the middle of the night, is he able to wake from his slumber and handle it?
I think so. I think so. And I think Biden, like, as far as like senile and all that, I think 99% of presidential duties, Biden, in where he is right now today, he can handle them. But I think like certain things, he's not quick on his feet. He doesn't think quickly, but I think he's there 100% basically. But I don't know in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 4 years, how it's going to be. So that coupled with Kamala Harris isn't VP material, arguably, much less presidential material. People start thinking like that, it's not a good ticket.
I don't doubt that he can. I'm not saying he's all that stuff about him having dementia and Parkinson's and ALS. I just, hocus pocus. But whether he's, if he needs to think quickly on his feet, can he do it? I think that's probably.
And how important is it, like, for a president to think quickly on his feet? Like, the president has to make that decision in 3 minutes. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think any decision is hours, is days. It's not the president has to make that decision in 90 seconds. I can't think of an example of that.
No, you're right. And it's probably with a team of advisors that are all, selling a consensus, and ultimately he probably makes the final call.
That's right.
I think there's,
and I don't think he's
imagine that. I don't envision that. But that's it, Corey. Good debate, brother. Take care, man.
Yeah, you're right, Robert. Thanks for the call in Slidell. No, that's, I think, a lot of people's concern, Robert, what you're talking about. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Rouse's Markets phone lines open 766-9480. 766-9480. Got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate available. Before it was Jackson Square, it was blank. Plasta Arms. Good job, Ridge. Good job, John. St. Louis Cathedral on Jackson Square. The Cabildo to the left. You got the Presbyterian Apartments. What's that building to the right of St. Louis Cathedral that makes up the rest of the main buildings of Jackson Square? St. Louis Cathedral, the Cabildo, the two Pontalba apartments on either side. And what's that other building to the right of St. Louis Cathedral that sort of completes Jackson Square? Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. 5 area locations of the Woodhouse. Mid-City, New Orleans. Metairie near North Kenner. That's Transcontinental at West Esplanade. They're in Mandeville. They're in Slidell. They're in Baton Rouge. WoodhouseSpas.com. WoodhouseSpas.com. Hey, speaking of Baton Rouge, Tiger Town. Helm Paint and Decorating now in the capital city. 4 locations. Highland Road, Perkins Road, Jones Creek Road, Choctaw. Free 2-hour delivery. High quality Benjamin Moore paint. The best in the business. In New Orleans for over 55 years, we're not going to the big box store for paint. We're not going to some national chain. New Orleanians have been going to Helm Paint and Decorating for over half a century. Now that quality is in Tiger Town. Helm Paint and Decorating now in Baton Rouge.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. woodhousebars.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Thursday afternoon edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Well, we got a full slate, a lot of topics to discuss. That Bywater Naval Base, Billy Nungesser talking about the French Quarter, another Troop Nola chase, another arrest, the president's press conference. The NFL is going to let private equity investors buy into teams up to 10%. Wow. ESPYs tonight, Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Steve Gleason's getting that bad boy. Let's head to the French Quarter. Billy Nungesser says the French Quarter should be our shining jewel. He's right. Bobby is in the French Quarter. What up, Bobby?
Hey, Corey. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Yourself?
Hey, I want to take a stab at that question. That's the building to the right of St. Louis Cathedral.
Yep. What is it? We got the Cathedral, you got the Cabildo, you got the Pontalba Apartments. What's the other Jackson Square main building?
The Louisiana State Museum?
It is the Louisiana State Museum. You're right. Do you know the formal name?
I don't know the formal
No,
name.
that's good. We'll leave it out there for someone else. But, Bobby, you are correct, essentially. It is the Louisiana State Museum. Cool. Yep. Good job. Hey, Bobby, what do you think about when I talk about reimagining Bourbon Street? It's a toilet. Make it somewhere where locals would actually want to go. You live in the French Quarter. I'm assuming you avoid Bourbon Street most of the time?
Yeah, most of the time, unless I'm going to one of the nicer restaurants that are down there, like Galatoire's and in those places. But, yeah, I think it'd be hard to get some of those establishments to move their businesses, such as like the strip clubs and stuff.
You just got to ban strip joints on Bourbon Street, fade them out.
And like the Cats and Meows and all those, I mean, they really do a lot of business in those karaoke places.
No, I think they do. But I mean, is it the money that, first off, is it cash business? Because if it's cash, then a lot of it's under the table. And then how much, and I'm not talking about the place you specifically mentioned. I don't know enough about the Cat's Meow, but I know a lot of places on Bourbon Street, it's drugs, prostitution, cash. And the city, I don't think, is getting the taxes it deserves. It's, not a sophisticated tourist. It's not sophisticated dollars. it's low-hanging fruit as far as the money. I think you're getting 20, 30, 40 bucks a head on average instead of hundreds. I don't know. If I lived in the quarter, I would.
They can figure out how to relocate those businesses and then put some more jazz clubs and finer restaurants down there. That would be ideal. But like you said, Billy Nungesser would have a huge problem trying to get that solved, especially without the backing of city officials. And our illustrious mayor, she's out of town too much to know what's going on in the French Quarter.
Yeah, it's 1 out of 5 days out of town on average. Nungesser offered state services, and the mayor turned him down.
That doesn't surprise me that she turned it down. She just doesn't know what she's doing.
Yep. You're right, Bobby. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm excited about some of the improvements we're seeing around the city, and it's because of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But I'm like you. Why can't we keep these improvements well after?
No, full time. No, we're going to make these changes. It's like the litter. Let's change the mentality of the citizenry. We're not going to allow that anymore. It's not going to be litter and dumping everywhere. I mean, we just got to change. It's the citizens. Everybody wants to blame government or the law or whatever. It's the citizens, in this instance, the littering. But no, all these improvements, you want them for years and years, decades and decades. And some of them require maintenance. So you don't just dump millions into an improvement and then there's no plan to maintain it,
Right.
Hey, Bobby, hang on, all right?
Okay.
Miss Peaches thank you. Miss Peaches is going to get some info from you and tighten you up with a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Where are we heading, to Baton Rouge, Miss Peaches? Hang on, Bobby. Let's go to Baton Rouge. Nick joins us. What you say, Nick?
Hey, how you doing, Corey?
Good, man. What's going on in the capital city?
A little rain, and that's about it. But I got the answer. It's the Presbyterian.
Nice. How'd you know that, Nick?
Well, you did slip up a little bit, but no.
Did I?
Actually, I'm an architect, and I've toured New Orleans plenty of times, and that's big history buff and all that, and that's pretty much how I know it.
Did I slip up and say Presbyterian?
A little bit. You called the Pentavla apartments the Presbyterian apartments.
Oh, I did say. Oh, wow, some kind of Freudian slip or something like that.
Caller earlier on the Place d'Armes gave a great history of the Jackson Square and how it came about, and we're really indebted to the Pentavlas and really the Almonasters for all of that great architecture in our city.
You're so right. The Almonasters and Pentavlas. You're right. And John in Pearl River, that was an amazing history lesson we got.
Yep. So
Nick, you
and then I just
no, go ahead.
I wanted to tell you, I followed you on Twitter not too long ago, and you reached out to me because my uncle is Don Dubuque.
Oh, yeah. I saw your name, Dubuque, and I said, is your uncle happen to be Don? No, it's just what a sweetheart of a guy, man.
I know. I love local radio, and I love sports. Obviously hunting and fishing, and now your radio show I really have enjoyed. So
no, Don's a good, hardworking, honest guy. He's been in radio for 40 years, I bet, like literally 40 years. No, and he's a gentleman and he's a gentleman. He's a good guy. Hey, Nick, don't go anywhere. All right.
All right.
That's Nick, the architect in Baton Rouge, picking up 50 big bucks to the Woodhouse. That's Blue Boy, the basset hound, barking up a storm. Now, I know you're hungry, buddy, but another hour. We got the 5 o'clock powwow. Then I'll come home and feed you, and we go for a walk and do all that fun stuff, petting and all that. All right, buddy, calm down. 5 o'clock powwow is next. Don't move.
Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Yeah, you
A thunder
right.
of tents in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
Rocky and Bullwinkle, one of the greatest cartoons of all time. Go to YouTube, check out Rocky and Bullwinkle. And I don't know, you don't want, like, if there's like a new edition, which there could be. Always got to ruin stuff. Just leave it alone, you know? Just leave it alone. Unless you're going to make Godfather 2, leave it alone. Caddyshack 2. That will make you drive your vehicle into a tree at an extremely fast rate of speed. Caddyshack 2. Exactly. This is New Orleans. There's no New Orleans 2. Although Mobile, Alabama has some New Orleans-ish features, Mobile, Alabama might be the most New Orleans-like city outside of New Orleans, in these United States at least. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us. It is the 5 o'clock power hour on a Thursday. So much to discuss. I love this. This is great news. I do a talk radio, talk television program. I'm not like a political leader or some businessman that's worth millions and has, influence with these politicians. I move the needle the old-fashioned way, if it moves at all, but just doing my thing on talk radio and talk television. Hopefully some good comes of it every now and then. But something I've been discussing on this program probably about a decade now, literally. And I don't hear many people discussing it, but now there's finally a little bit of momentum. Specifically, I've been talking about Bourbon Street and reimagining Bourbon Street because it's a toilet, it's a dump, it's a gutter, it's awful. There's a reason we locals don't go down to Bourbon Street. It's terrible. Why would you go down there? Seriously, except for like Galatoire's or, Dickie Brennan's Bourbon House or maybe Felix's or Acme right around the corner. You're going nowhere near Bourbon Street for a reason. It is a toilet. It's awful. We need to reimagine Bourbon Street. It's long overdue. Get rid of the daiquiri shops, the big-ass beer, the horrible trinket stores, the strip joints. Get rid of all that stuff. There's not enough per person, per head of money coming into the city the way Bourbon Street's run right now. And it's too much of a liability. And it's not a nice, pleasant place. Like I said, there's a reason us locals don't go down there. And there's a reason tourists that know better don't go down there. If you had a friend or someone coming into New Orleans for the first time ever from out of town, and they were just pushing Bourbon Street, you'd be like, you'd relent and go walk down it like if the 4 or 5 in the afternoon or one night real quickly, and that's it. You wouldn't want to go into any establishment. You wouldn't want to spend time down there. You'd be like, there's 1,000 better places in New Orleans for you to go and experience New Orleans than crappy Bourbon Street. And here's the sad part, too. Royal Street shuts down like 6 p.m. because the drunks fade over to that street and those antique shops and all that. They know they're not getting any business from, those folks. They literally put like fencing over the glass windows and doors so some idiot doesn't throw a brick or a bottle through the window at one of these antique shops. If you had Bourbon Street with restaurants and jazz and music clubs and a higher level of tourists coming in with deeper pockets, spending more money, you could open up Royal Street late night. And it would those two streets would work well together late into the night with lit up police presence, sophisticated, I guess would be the word. That's actually the word that Diane Simno used, this French Quarter property owner. which leads me to Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. I've been talking about reimagining Bourbon Street. Billy Nungesser was in the French Quarter last night meeting with citizens, with homeowners, with business owners in the French Quarter. He said the quarter should be the shining jewel. This ought to be shining. If any place in the city ought to shine, it's unacceptable. And if this is the jewel of the city, God help us that we can't clean it up and make it safe. He's right. And then Diane Simno, this French Quarter property owner for 30 plus years, said, we would like a more sophisticated tourist. I don't want Bourbon Street advertised at all. She's right, too. We do need a more sophisticated tourist. And she's right. Bourbon Street as is, we don't need to advertise it. But if you reimagine it, you'd want to advertise it. Where locals would want to go, it would be the shining jewel of the shining jewel, the pearl of the oyster, the French Quarter, Bourbon Street. We could make it a big positive just by reimagining it. Getting outside firms to give their input, world-class folks that have, hey, what we did for Times Square, something in Paris or Spain or wherever. Get the best of the best, come up with ideas, and let's change it for the better, because it's a toilet. It's a gutter. So good to see that Billy Nungesser's down in the French Quarter, because he's right. It should be the shining jewel. And then he goes even a step further and says, we're going to clean it up, but that's great to do it for the Super Bowl, but we need to sustain it. It always needs to be clean and safe. And he's right. That's a problem in New Orleans. We will invest millions into something, and that something needs maintenance. It needs to be kept up, and we don't have any money or any plan in place to do that, and it just wastes away. Good job, Billy Nungesser. Boy, that Bywater Naval Base on Poland Avenue, you got to go back to the Mitch Landrieu, administration, just sinful behavior. It was a naval base. The feds were running it. They literally gave it to the city. And it was, I don't know, Class B, maybe Class C office space by this time, dated, but functioning. Air conditioning, heat, electricity, offices where people could work out of. And it was just gifted to the city. And instead of Mitch Landrieu right away, at the very least, securing the site 24/7 with armed security, NOPD, you make it a police substation. You make it a substation for the NOPD. There's always police going in and out. There's always activity there. There'd be no vandals or homeless folks going anywhere near it. And then you have problems like, the NOPD, we've got to go rent space on Poydras Street for a few $1,000,000 a year. They could have moved in there. You'd have even more of an NOPD presence. City Hall workers that could have gone in there. The federal government was in there. The Navy was in there in these office buildings, like 1 million square feet of office space. 1 million square feet is like Place St. Charles or One Shell Square. Charity Hospital's about 1 million square feet. Instead of securing the building, the opposite. Vandals broke in and started stealing copper wiring and just breaking windows, lighting fires, homeless in there. Almost demolition by neglect. Now, whoever's going to come in, they were going to gut it and redo it anyway, but that's not the point. It should have been safe, secure. It's going to cost more money now to redo it. Some parts have probably been damaged. There have been fires and the like. So sinful by Mitch Landrieu's administration, LaToya Cantrell. They just let this building almost go into disrepair. Finally, some good news. Some federal funds are on the way. They call it the NSA, I guess Naval Support, East Bank Apartments. 1,000 apartments, $166 million investment. The feds are throwing $20 million of money, key money, towards that. This is Joe Yeager's company, his people. And I think also the old Tulane pitcher, Gibbs Construction, is involved. So great news for that
Bywater Naval Base on Poland Avenue. I mean, what a location. Industrial waterway at the Mississippi River. That would be a great place to live. And it's going to be one of those live, work, play, shop, a kind of whole entertainment type of district with living, sort of like a miniature river district. Finally, that thing is moving forward, or at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's say that. The Bywater Naval Base, 1,000+ apartments. That is just going to inject a lot of life into that neighborhood. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, Baton Rouge, River City's Total Maintenance is there for you. That's right, Baton Rouge. River City's Total Maintenance is there for you. TM-AC.com. Total Maintenance, TM-AC.com. In New Orleans, NOLAAC.com. River City's Total Maintenance, your AC experts. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's Total Maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Hey, Lebanon's Cafe is open till 9:30 every night, 7 days a week. Real easy. Open 7 days a week. They open at 11 a.m. and they go till 9:30. And they're open straight through the day. I love Lebanon's Cafe. I was there yesterday picking up a to-go order, chicken shawarma, a fried football kibbe like a Lebanese meat pie, some tabbouleh, really healthy and really tasty. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, where Carrollton Avenue is one lane, in between Claiborne's and the River Bend. Under the oak trees, on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe, yummy. Corey Johnson with you. Joe Biden to hold a media conference, a press conference within the next 30 minutes, the next hour for sure. There really isn't a specific time, believe it or not. It had like a ish. Try to be around 5:30, 6 o'clock-ish local time. This could be a make or break press conference. There's no teleprompter. The media will be asking questions. Biden's going to have to answer those questions. He's not going to know the questions. Not that he knew them at the debate, but was prepped for the debate. This is Biden's choice. Biden is trying to proactively move the needle back in a positive direction for himself because that debate was a debacle. Yet it's still a toss-up. It's almost a dead heat in polls. It just goes to show you how two things, how locked and loaded a lot of folks are. Like, I'm voting for Biden no matter what. I'm voting for Trump no matter what. Coupled with basically a couple of unsavory, I don't want to say, Biden's not so much of a character like Trump is, but, and I'm not dogging Trump. I'm just saying two unsavory choices. Let's put it that way. Trump has his baggage. Biden has his. And the Biden and Trump supporters, y'all are kind of like out. It doesn't matter. You're voting for Trump or Biden. You're locked in. It's that, I say 10, 12, maybe 15% undecided. And that's shrinking. I'm sure some folks have decided after the debate. I'm voting for Trump now. Can't vote for Joe Biden after that debate. But there's still more than enough undecided to swing the election either way, especially since it's like a dead heat. Trump's like 2 points ahead of Biden. You would think after the debate, Trump would be 10 double-digit points above Biden after that debate. But it's not the case because Trump has that much baggage. The Chick-fil-A on Vets, which spills out onto Veterans Boulevard. It's unreal. Like you're like 30th in the drive-thru to get Chick-fil-A. I never could understand that. Seriously, I don't get that. And Chick-fil-A drive-thrus aren't the fastest, I would say. I'm not saying they aren't clean and efficient and do their stuff right. I'm just saying they're not the fastest. The Chick-fil-A on Vets bought a lot next door. They're expanding the drive-through lanes. I guess more zigzagging in and out to get cars off Vets. It's a good thing. And more parking for that Chick-fil-A, which just kills it. That Chick-fil-A on Veterans, I promise you, every day it's open. Every day. I mean, unless just some fluke like it's flooding or they do north of 20 grand a day. 20 grand a day. Just do the simple math. 6 days a week, that's 120 grand a week. They're not open on Sundays. Multiply that by 4. What do you get? $500,000 a month? That's $6 million a year that Chick-fil-A on Veterans does. $6 million a year. Minimum. Chick-fil-A's
15, 20 grand a day. Raising Cane's, pull double digits. 10, 12, getting to the teens, $15,000 a day. That Cane's, I believe, on Williams and Kenner is like one of the number 1, number 2, number 3 highest producing Raising Cane's in the world, like 900 locations. That store kicks butt and takes names. The Kenner Williams Boulevard Raising Cane's slaughters it. They're like number 1, number 2, number 3 out of, like I said, 900 stores. No, they do 15 grand a day, maybe 20 grand a day. There's just insane money. It really is. I mean, the McDonald's like on Carrollton Avenue, I guarantee you, they never do $10,000 in a day. I doubt that McDonald's on Carrollton Avenue, unless like 10 busloads of baseball kids showed up, has ever done $10,000 in a day. That popular McDonald's on Carrollton, it's just lower priced, it's dollar menu, things like that. And it just doesn't do the volume, surprisingly. A McDonald's doesn't do the volume like of a Chick-fil-A or a Raising Cane's. And then Raising Cane's, which I eat, local, fresh. It's my fallback emergency stuff. I'm not a fast food diner. But the thing I get at Raising Cane's is $19.44. That's how much my fast food order is at Raising Cane's. And I'm not complaining. I get a Caniac with an extra finger. I get them naked, no batter. So they're a little smaller. I used to just get like the box, like 4, because they were battered. And then one day I was like, can I get light battered? Like, you can get them naked. I'm like, what's naked? They're like, no batter. I'm like, bingo. I get them extra crispy, naked. It's little fried chicken fingers without the batter. Trying to be a little healthier. I don't like the batter, to be honest with you, but I'm in the minority. But anyway, my order is $19.44. There's nothing I eat that's cheaper and expensive. That's the cheapest thing I eat. $19.44. Wow. Like everybody says today, everything's expensive. Here's the flip end of $19.44. The NFL is going to let private equity investors buy into NFL teams up to probably 10%. Now, here's the kicker. The private equity firms, they see the increasing value over the years, over the decades of NFL franchises. They know the NFL is the premier league in the world. They know their teams are worth more than any other teams in the world, any other pro sports league. There are only 32 franchises. There's a limited number. I'm going to use the Saints, for instance. Forbes has the Saints at, let's say, like $4 billion value, $4 to $5 billion value. You say, you want to make it $4 billion just for argument's sake? $400 million ain't going to get you 10% of the Saints. You're going to have to pay like $1 billion. It's going to be today's value plus some future stuff. And they're going to be able to get away with it. And the private equity firm's going to be all in because they know the value of these NFL teams and how they increase. And they know there are only 32 of them. And even if and when, and it'll happen, the league will expand, there'll be 36 teams tops. I don't know if Gail Benson, I mean, this is way above my pay grade. This is billion-dollar stuff. These are some of the wealthiest people in the world, like a Gail Benson, NFL, NBA team owner. These private equity firms have billions of dollars in some cases to invest. It may not fit for every NFL team, and it may not fit for the Saints and Gail Benson, but I promise you the NFL's doing it, and there are going to be a bunch of teams that take advantage of it, and it's going to be insane numbers. Like the New York Giants sold 10% of their team for $3 billion. And folks are like, the Giants are only worth 6 or something. Someone paid 50% of today's value for just 10% of the team. Yeah, because they own that 10% forever. And in the future, they feel they'll get their money back with a great, safe investment like the NFL. Yeah, I would guess if Gail Benson wanted that, if her team's worth $4 billion, let's say, 10% will cost $1 billion. It's going to be like twice the today's value thing. And the equity firms are going to jump on that. We're going to see it happening by the end of the year. Be interesting to see if Gail Benson is involved in that. I don't watch a lot of ESPN, but you might want to check out the ESPYs tonight. Steve Gleason getting the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Tiger Stadium getting upgrades as we speak. They'll be ready for this football season. Video boards, new audio system, ribbon boards, just new lighting technology, making Tiger Stadium, that experience, a lot better. These replay boards in both end zones are going to be some of the biggest in the country. This is when the NIL people, the folks putting up the money for NIL, for name, image, likeness, that are LSU fans that want the school to have the money to pay these athletes, coupled with TAF, the Tiger Athletic Foundation, equals these upgrades to Tiger Stadium. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. Yeah, Latrim's hiring, and their website has a full listing of positions available, and it's not like 2 or 3 job openings. It's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings at their Elmwood facility and on the North Shore. Yeah, they got a facility on I-12. You don't have to cross the lake. Latrim's hiring. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled Laitram, Latrim.com. It is a Thursday afternoon edition of the program, 5 o'clock powwow. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Within the next 30 minutes or so, President Joe Biden's going to hold a news conference. I don't think it's saying I'm dropping out of the race. I think it's the opposite. He's definitely staying, in my opinion. We'll see. But I think it could be a make or break. Does he show dramatic improvement over the debacle, the debate?
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 airy locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon, 5 o'clock power hour. Lots of topics. That Bywater Naval Base is getting some key federal funding, about $20 million. They want to build 1,000 apartments, about $170 million investment. Finally, some momentum there. Investors, which is Joe Yeager's old company, his people, along with Gibbs Construction, they needed this federal grant to get other grants, other loans and funding to make this project work. So maybe a light at the end of the tunnel finally for that old naval facility on Poland Avenue. Really sinful what has happened the last 10, 12 years with that facility. You go back to the Mitch Landrieu administration. This was a functioning naval facility. The feds downsized. They were going to close it. They maintained the buildings, air conditioning running. They had security. It was safe and secure, even though no one was working there any longer. Then they handed the keys over to the city of New Orleans. We're giving you this facility on the corner of the Mississippi River and the Intracoastal Waterway, right there on Poland Avenue in the back of the Bywater neighborhood. Giving it to you. You could... functioning buildings, you could lease them out, you can do whatever you want. They handed the keys over, and Mitch Landrieu's administration did nothing. Like, didn't put a policeman there, didn't put a security guard there, didn't do a thing. The opposite. They just left it alone. And then immediately, vandals started breaking in and stealing like copper wiring and anything of value, metal, anything, and just started stripping the building clean. And then homeless folks going in there and just idiots breaking windows and vandalism and spray painting and just graffiti and fires started. And over the years, the buildings went into total disrepair. No, just sinful because they were, I'm not going to say they're Class A, they weren't, but they were like Class B, Class C office space, fully functioning. The feds were in there. Hundreds of workers. It's 1 million square feet. I think it's 3 total buildings and a huge parking garage or 2. 1 million square feet, like equal to Place St. Charles or One Shell Square or Charity Hospital's about 1 million square feet. Enormous. I mean, You're Mitch Landrieu, you're LaToya Cantrell. Right away, you put a police substation in there. You got NOPD in there, vehicles, cops going in and out. No homeless or vandals or folks trying to steal are going to go in there. There's a police presence there. And now the police need to go rent space on Poydras in a high-rise office tower. They could have moved in there. You could have other offices that the city is paying rent for. Go move in there. A gift from the feds. Not some beautiful state-of-the-art building, but a functioning office building. No, just sinful to let it totally go into disrepair. And now these folks that are going to invest in it and make it apartments, sure, they're going to have to gut it anyway, but now it's gutting it and more because it's damage, fires, things of that nature. But no, really terrible what Mitch Landrieu's administration at first and then LaToya Cantrell's administration, just the free gift and just looking the other way and letting it go to crap. No, finally some good news for that neighborhood, for that area. The artist renderings are fantastic. It's sort of a mini river district. The river district's going to be like $1 billion. This is going to be $170 million, but it's going to be live, work, play, shop, entertainment, all in one spot. And then things around there are going to take off and grow. You don't think like the Jack Dempsey's restaurant, they're still over there on Poland Avenue? If they're still there, they're loving this. I know right down the street, the joint, the barbecue joint, they got to be loving this. 1,000 apartments, that's a game changer for those businesses that already exist. And then you'd see more businesses, and you'd see like St. Claude and Poland, that corner, Japonica, all that street, all those areas taken off because of 1,000 apartments right there. So that's some great news. $20 million in federal funding may jumpstart that project, the Bywater Naval Base. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Every day this program is brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford, the legendary Ford truck dealership, Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway for over 80 years. Now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra on the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10. Right on the corner, right on the price. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford, the truck dealership on Jefferson Highway. Thursday afternoon edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. The NFL, by the end of this year, is going to allow private equity investors to buy into existing NFL franchises up to about 10%. This is amazing, revolutionary. It goes to show you how cutting edge the world's number one sports league is. You already have franchises, valued more than any other pro sports franchises in the world. I mean, the Cowboys, I think, are the number one franchise in the world. The value is something like $9 or $10 billion now, just insane. There are only 32 teams. It's the number one pro league in the world. These private equity investors, they're going to gobble up this 10%. I don't know if all 32 NFL teams are going to participate. I don't know if Gail Benson and the Saints are going to participate, but I would think several, if not many teams, the majority will. And it could be 3%, 5%, up to this 10%. But the 10% is a good example. Let's use the Saints, for instance. Let's just say the Saints are worth $5 billion just for, discussion's sake. A 10% stake in a $5 billion company would be $500 million. But because of the insane growth of these NFL teams value-wise over the last few decades, coupled with there are only 32 of them, a limited number, it's not unlimited. No one's going to start a pro league and compete. These private equity firms aren't going to pay $500 million for 10% of a $5 billion valued team like the Saints. They're going to pay like north of $1 billion for the $5 billion 10% stake in the team. Now you're going, Corey, why would they pay more than double of today's value? Because it's a product that has shown tremendous growth, like I said, over the last 20, 30, 40 years. And these private equity investors think that's going to continue indefinitely. The NFL is the number one pro league in the world. They make the most money. It's billions of dollars. I mean, Roger Goodell makes like $100,000 a day. Roger Goodell makes like $100,000 a day, plus north of that. He's like $50 million a year. So these equity firms, they see that, yeah, I'm not buying a 10% stake at today's value. I'm buying a 10% stake in today's and the future value. And they're going to feel they're getting a great deal. And then when all these teams are the ones that do get this private equity money, billions of dollars, the value of these teams, the NFL, it's just going to be stronger and stronger. So I don't know if Gail Benson and the Saints are going to do this or not, but obviously a bunch of NFL teams will. And the 10% stake, that's the limit, I believe. That'll be the cap, the most the NFL is going to allow. Whatever percentage is being sold, 3%, 5%, 10%, it's going to be at a much larger dollar amount than what that percentage represents of today's value of that NFL team. Some NFL owners like Gail Benson, if she wants, they're going to receive checks for hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars at the end of this year, beginning of next year. Probably before the Super Bowl, you'll hear the news late this year, early next year of some NFL teams selling a small percentage to these private equity investors. Unbelievable. Just the money we're talking about it's inconceivable. Almost inconceivable. It is a Thursday afternoon edition of the program, 5 o'clock power hour. Corey Johnson with you. Leidenheimer French bread. My goodness, how good is Leidenheimer French bread? It's in us. It's part of the DNA of New Orleans. I mean, do you know someone that hasn't experienced Leidenheimer French bread? It's doubtful. They've been around longer than anyone's been alive in New Orleans. They've been at it almost 130 years, baking that French bread you love right here in the city of New Orleans. And now they're shipping out to around 30 states around the country, because it's not just New Orleanians that recognize the greatness of Leidenheimer French bread. It's catching on all around the country. 30 states. Leidenheimer French bread, all of it baked right here in New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Boy, I love that Leidenheimer French bread. Who doesn't? The po' boy bread of New Orleans. The high-end restaurant bread of New Orleans. That's incredible, huh? Just the range of what they do, from po' boys to the greatest restaurants in the city. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thursday afternoon, 5 o'clock powwow, a full slate. A lot of stuff going on in the news. Big news, small news, all kind of stuff. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser in the French Quarter last night, meeting with citizens, homeowners, business owners. He says the quarter should be a shining jewel. He's right. I love it. I've been talking about reimagining Bourbon Street. Now we've got somebody on board, Billy Nungesser. Nungesser says he has offered help and support to clean up the quarter to the city, and Mayor LaToya Cantrell said thanks, but no thanks. President Joe Biden to hold a press conference literally any minute was scheduled. It was loose. The White House said it wasn't like it's going to start at this exact time, 5:30, 5:45, 6-ish. This is critical. After the debate, the debacle, Biden's got to show something at this press conference. No teleprompter. The media will be asking questions. I think today at some NATO thing, he was praising, Ukraine and President Putin, like said Putin instead of Zelensky. Now, everybody knows what he meant, but you're making these mistakes all the time. It gets worrisome. So this is a key press conference. Will Biden sort of hold it together and maybe even shine a little bit, or will he be more like the debate? Critical press conference. Bywater Naval Base getting federal funds, $20 million going towards this $166 million project that's going to bring 1,000 apartments to that beat up old naval base that the city neglected on Poland Avenue by St. Claude. By the river, industrial waterway. Jefferson Parish driver, high-speed chase. Troop Nola catching him, started on the West Bank in Gretna, got on the West Bank Expressway, got off, went into Algiers, got back on. This thing ended where the suspect pulled over, just relented, gave up. I think that's starting to, spread. This is a good example where I've talked about the proactive policing with NOPD and state troopers, that the criminals know there's a presence. This guy stealing the car, I'm not going to get away with it. And all I read are these cars end up getting crashed. There's a crash at the end. And the person wrecking the car goes to jail. Maybe I should just pull over. No, and this reverberates through the criminal community. Man, Jimmy, you better not go out there on your four-wheeler because they took Freddie's four-wheeler. He's in jail. Man, you better not carjack. There's a presence. I see NOPD and state troopers everywhere. The state troopers are relentless. Another chase, another arrest. No, chases aren't good, but the state troopers of the NOPD didn't start them. The criminals did. It's like a bank being robbed. The bank robbers jump in the getaway car. You just let them go or you pursue. The NFL is going to let private equity investors buy into teams up to 10%. Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. These NFL owners, these billionaires are going to get checks for billions of dollars selling just a small percentage of their team. It's not just, hey, you're buying today's value. You're buying the future value, and they're only 32. You in or out, and they'll get it. They will get like 50% of the team value, only giving up like 10% of the team. It's going to be obnoxious. It's going to start happening at the end of this year. Hey, I don't watch much ESPN. Unless it's like an LSU game, Pelicans game, Saints, Tulane, something like that. But I might check in for a few minutes of the ESPYs tonight. I'll definitely be watching the replays of tonight's ESPYs. One particular part the only part I care about, the Arthur Ashe Courage Award, because it's going to Steve Gleason, and that's a great thing. Steve Gleason it's immeasurable how courageous he is. You know what New Orleans needs to do? The old, what is it? The Magnolia Bridge, I think is the official name, that blue bridge on Bayou St. John by Cabrini High School. That old bridge, about 130 years old, 140 years old. They need to rename that bridge the Michelle and Steve Gleason Bridge. The Michelle and Steve Gleason Bridge. They got married on that bridge. And Steve Gleason married a New Orleanian, and he's never left New Orleans. Lives out by the lakefront, fell in love with the city, the people, loves it here. And everybody loves Steve Gleason. And I think naming that bridge the Gleason Bridge would be just a great tribute to a guy he's not a native New Orleanian, but he's an official New Orleanian now. He's more Yaddy and native than a lot of natives. And then his wife, Michelle Verisco Gleason, is just a Yaddy New Orleans girl, proud New Orleanian. So those two got married on that bridge over Bayou St. John, that blue bridge by Cabrini. The neighborhood was known as the Magnolia neighborhood. It's the Magnolia Bridge. No one even really knows that. The Gleason Bridge, that'd be a classy move, New Orleans. A real classy move. Best quality, best price, best selection. Tastes like home because it is. It's Rouse's Market, your grocery store. They got everything you need. And I love the Rouse's labels, the Rouse's branded items. That extra virgin olive oil that I use, and I'm picky. I get the Rouse's labeled from Italy extra virgin olive oil. It is fantastic. I did a little Pepsi challenge with some Cola Vita. I think it's Cola Vita. Same color, same like viscosity. I put it on a plate. The two of them together, they just spread the same, tasted the exact same. Half the price, like $10.99 instead of $20. Yeah, check out Rouse's brands. Highest quality, great selection, best price. Rouse's Markets, your grocery store, New Orleans. Thursday afternoon edition of the program. The Chick-fil-A on Vets, they do north of 20 grand a day. They do like 6-7 million a year. They have a drive-through line that spills out on the Vets. What's that, Blue Boy? They bought a lot next door and expanding the drive-through line and adding parking. So ideally, there won't be cars spilling out on the Vets. Good move. What else, buddy? Everybody should join us tomorrow, straight up 4 o'clock. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you're right, buddy. The weekend's here. We will see you tomorrow. We'll be here straight up 4 o'clock. Do the same.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.